Hey guys, what is up? I hope you're all having a good day. The fishery is starting. That's the sea-doo down there. We got the crab boats, we got the workers getting everything ready. Hopefully get out the season. Alright, so today in this video we're going to be talking about EGR deletes. I plan to cover like, I'll probably forget half of this, but things like why would you do it, on what applications should you do it on, why you shouldn't do it, what an EGR even is, and I don't know, whatever else I can just think off the top of my head. These videos aren't scripted, so I'll put my seatbelt on to stop that annoying chime. I had that in the last video. Oh my god. Get out on the highway and we'll have a chat. Hey, alright, so we are on the highway. Highway, it's a dirt road. So EGRs. Alright, yeah, so let's what is an EGR delete? Right? What it stands for? Exhaust gas recirculator. How it works is that there's a sensor in the exhaust. When the EGRs go over 1600 degrees, it'll open up the valve for the exhaust gas recirculation. So what it then does is that dumps the exhaust into an exhaust EGR cooler, is what it's called. This cools down the exhaust, so it'll cool down the gases and then it'll dump it back into the intake manifold. So why does it do this? Well, see, there's a arguably dangerous emission that comes out of all vehicles, whether it's gas, diesel, propane, anything that burns. You get these NOx emissions. NOx is nitrogen oxides. So nitrogen oxides are formed when the combustion temperature goes over 1600 degrees. This creates a reaction between nitrogen and oxygen, basic air molecules, and creates NOx. What the X is any amount of oxygen molecules can jump onto this molecule. It does screw with the environment a little bit, I must say. According to research anyways. I have no clue. Alright, so what it does is when the gas gets recirculated back into the intake, it goes into the combustion chamber. This exhaust gas is cooler and it takes up space within the combustion chamber to keep the compression ratio the same, but leaving less material in there to combust, which in turn lowers the combustion temperature. No script. I got this. I got this. So anyway, so this does work. It does lower the emission, how much emissions these things put out. Alright, so now I'm going to talk about why people want to delete them. Wouldn't you think, well, it's worse for the environment? Well, yeah. But these trucks, I'm not sure about this one. The 6.7s are okay. But on the older trucks, the Dodges and the Fords and the Chevys, I'm not too familiar with the Chevy EGRs, but they have issues. They always have had issues, especially when this emissions thing first got introduced. I mean, the EGR coolers, they would leak. You'd get a proper shit ton of coolant into your motor, blast everything right to pieces, because this is another thing to cool the EGR cooler. 1600 degrees has to be brought down a lot. So I mean, you know, you're introducing a lot of heat into your cooling system, and this is just frying head gaskets right, left, and center. These EGRs, they cause problems on their own. They clog. You know, you can imagine all that black sooty crap that just builds up there. Especially diesels need a lot of heat to run really clean. So for the people who idle their trucks, not so much power takeoff, but you know, ambulances, fire trucks, emergency vehicles, military vehicles, diesel trucks in really, really cold environments where they have to leave the diesels going 24/7. The diesel particulates, like all the black soot, it doesn't burn clean, and this just starts building up around the EGR and just clogs it. So now your truck won't run right, it's throwing error messages. It just creates all kinds of problems. Whether you gain performance, lose performance, gain fuel economy, lose fuel economy, no one's really sure, because every truck is different, every environment is different, and every driver is different. So, you know, it's arguable whether you're gonna gain much out of it other than reliability. I never really thought of it in depth, but you would say, well, there's less combustible material entering into the motor, it's not going to run efficiently. Per RPM, you're not getting as much power. However, you introduced black matter into we're going to call it dark matter, because I can, and this is YouTube. So you're introducing dark matter into the combustion chamber, and what this allows you to do is keep the compression ratio the same, take up some of that space. You don't need as much air, in turn you don't need as much fuel, so you'll burn less fuel with the EGR on. Maybe? I don't know. It will improve reliability. The EGR will go out someday, and just pray to God it doesn't take your entire motor with it. I mean, it's going to cost a couple $100s for the kit. And, you know, depending on whether you do it yourself or have someone else do it, it's not the easiest job. There isn't very much room there. It takes a few different tools, not just basic tools. Nothing overly complicated either, but not everyone has these tools, right? You can't do it with the hammer. So, you know, it's arguable, you know, whether it's worth it or not. On the new trucks, I'd say 2011 and up, leave it. Don't bother with it. You know, if you want to keep your truck for 1,000,000 miles, sure, do it, go ahead, but if you're just going to keep your truck for a while and then just sell it, I mean, these things, they became pretty bulletproof. Even the DPF system, the EGR systems, all the SRC systems, they're pretty bulletproof at this point. I mean, these are good solid motors, and modifying them is, you know, becomes arguable whether or not that's going to help you at all. In the older trucks, the 03s to 2011 pretty much, yeah, it's worth it because they were not bulletproof at all before that. They're bound to give out. Just do it, get it over with. The downside to deleting, in most places you're not allowed to do stuff with your emissions equipment. You may not pass inspection. You know, you may have to reinstall it whenever you go in to do your emissions testing. Some places don't have it, some places don't need it. So you can take your DPF off and your EGR off. If you're wondering what a DPF is, check out my DPF video. I'll link it at the end of this video. You got a little annotation you can click on. You're probably not going to pass emissions, which is a big thing for a lot of people. So on these new trucks, I wouldn't bother with it. But on the old ones, you know, go for it if you can swing it somehow. Just make sure you check your local laws. Make sure that you're not, you know, doing anything illegal. Make sure you're within your limits for stepping outside of the boundaries of the law. Like, just make sure you're okay, because I know in some places they'll be checking trucks to make sure that all the equipment is still on it. Alright, I don't want to sound like someone who doesn't know what they're talking about. Some of you may know special dedicated viewers. I don't have the EGR block plates on. I have the emission system turned off on the truck, but it's not the full delete. I don't have the block plates on. I'm gonna do that this summer probably, just because I can, and might as well. It's not, the EGR isn't something I need, and it's just another component to fail eventually. Oh look, there's a boat. Left a Fisheries and Oceans boat out here. Never seen that one before. Seen their bigger one, but not that one. I bet my seat is faster. As I said, this is a 2014, so the benefits I'm gonna wade are next to none, right? But it's still something I'm gonna do because it's emissions. Anything that has EPA next to it is bound to fail at the worst possible moment. With that, if you can't find a reason not to do it, go for it. If you have an older truck, I highly recommend it. Anyways guys, I guess that concludes the video on the EGR system. I mean, I've done a lot of research on these trucks. Long before I bought one, I knew what I was getting into. The diesel world is becoming a complicated world, and it's up to people like us to keep it going, to keep fighting and keep these diesels on these roads. I hope you found it helpful. If not, well, I hope you enjoyed it. Please check out some of my other videos. If you like them, you know what to do. I might be doing a subscriber giveaway, so anyone who's subscribed now will be entered in that. Cummins. Can you see that? Oh, Cummins. Anyways guys, you guys, thanks for being here, thanks for watching, thanks for stopping by this channel, thanks for commenting. I appreciate it all. You guys, you have a good day.
I turned off the radio. Yeah. You gon' sit, repeat that same hit song, upbeat and careless, like there ain't shit wrong, like there ain't lives lost.